all. Happy midweek. I hope everyone's been having a good middle of the week. We are going to see what our energy update looks like for the midweek. I feel like some people are very tired already, or exhausted. Whenever you're listening to this, it's meant to be, but you might just be feeling like, I need a break. And I feel like some folk need a break from like people or like peopling, right? It might be just sucking up all your energy. If you feel that way, perhaps you are also an empath, right? And like the peopling has become difficult. So let's pull a message from our African Goddess deck and see what their message is for us. And I think two guides want to come through. So let's see what the guides have to tell us. Let's check it out. Our first goddess is Malisa, which is all about cosmic power. You could take a look at the card here. And what she's trying to tell us is you do not need to put up with nonsense. You don't need to tolerate and put up with nonsense. Is that what you've been dealing with? Some people have been really like presenting a false front, right? Like blowing smoke is what I hear. Like they're really like propping you up, but you gotta, right? Like that. It's perhaps not true what they're telling you is not what they're putting out to other folk, right? So there's some of that energy out there, and you're not about that. You're too evolved for that. You're not into that nonsense. Other message I hear from her is to stay away from people who don't have your best interest at heart. Again, you know who those people are, but you don't need to share your energetic space. I know that's not always easy, especially if some of those people, we have close relationships with, or we're at work or things like that, where it's a little bit difficult to have boundaries, right? But consider like your aura, right? It's surrounding you, and whether or not you want to have people that close to you who may be energetically bringing you down, right? Again, you know who they are. So there's definitely a little bit of that, but yeah, her message is to just don't waste your time. Like, don't waste your time, right? Don't waste your time with people who are trying to waste your time, and they're not trying to help elevate you or uplift you in any way. Okay. And again, you usually feel tired, right? And with whoever these people are, usually, because like immediately after you feel like I needed to rest. You might feel exhausted, or like you need a coffee or something from them because they're energetically down a bit, or like they're like a perpetual Debbie Downer, or any of those things, right? Next goddess who comes forward is Mat, the Egyptian goddess, giving and receiving. Looks like this here. Remember, with relationships, as I'm always saying, is there's an energetic balance and a cycle. And you can get off cycle very quickly if you are always putting out and giving, but you don't ever receive. So you're actually not taking care of yourself, right? You especially for those who feel like they lean into that martyr energy, right? And like maybe it's hard for you to admit it or acknowledge it. Do consider a trustworthy counselor, right? Do take care of your mental health. But sometimes that energy, if we're always the doer and we don't let people do for us, other folks would really like to give and to do. But sometimes, we don't tell people. We either don't tell people things, or we think they're going to like mysteriously know, right? Or mind read, or all of these kinds of things. Or some people are taking advantage, right? They don't have our best interest at heart, right? That was our other card here before. And they're good with you always giving. They happily accept that because maybe they don't have to give. But we have to think about if that's it's just there's an ebb and a flow to the natural order of things, but if it's always that way, then it will energetically be a bit off balance, and it can lower our vibration. It can make us feel a bit down also. So something to think about is the energy we expend when we're giving and receiving, and then of course thinking about for those who feel like they can and they want to give more, definitely lean into that, right? Maybe you're running a little bit shy, or you're not sure how to get involved. Maybe you've thought about volunteerism, all of those things. But again, you know yourself. So if you're someone who's perpetually volunteering, or you're always doing stuff, remember to take care of yourself. You're creating an energetic imbalance if you're always, again, on the giving end, but you're not allowing other wonderful things to receive in your energetic circle too. Okay? Remember, it's a circle. It's a cycle. Now we're gonna pull some love affirmations. That's what I heard we needed to hear, and we'll see if our guides want to say anything else to get us through the rest of the week. Okay, so first we have be present. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love in your current circumstances. And maybe it's something you're working on, being more present or being more in the moment. This is not always easy, especially because, we have like a little library here, as it were, in our brains telling us past incidents, and we are connecting things, right? So when something happens, we might perceive that as a red flag. Maybe it is a red flag, or maybe it's just that, we've downloaded something else that's happened before, and we're back there, right? And sometimes it's grief that hits us. It could be so many different things that take us away from the present moment. In meditation, we say that you're only like a breath away from coming back to the present moment, but it's that moment when you catch yourself, and which is hard sometimes. Sometimes we're lost. We're deep in thought, we're deep in rumination, we're deep into thinking about, why did I make those choices? And so give yourself grace, right, that you made the best choices you could with information that you had at the time that you had it, but also allow yourself to come back. Now, this could be hard. It's not always easy to be present and in the present moment. How can you do that? It could be different things. I have one of those message bracelets that says "Be Here Now" that I made, because sometimes that will remind me to come back, right? Especially if you are someone like me who, I suffer from pre-event grief. Even before stuff has happened or people have crossed over, I start experiencing the grief before. If that makes sense. That is the opposite of being present, by the way. So I don't recommend it. But if that sounds like you, think about how you can be more here in the present moment, okay? That's a good message. That's our first one. Our next one is priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. It's just a reminder that the things that you're bringing forward, the energy that you're breathing into things, whether it's through projects, your work, your food if you're cooking, but let the love that you have shine through whatever that project is. I hope that that's the basis for the work that you're doing. And maybe you feel like, well, now I don't feel that way about work right now, or whatever I create. I hope that you find some things where you create which are poured in through love. That's your craft, right? Imbuing love in the things that you have, and understanding, what are the things that are most important to you, right? Is it your family? Is it nurturing relationships, right? What is it? What is the most important thing, and how do you grow and nurture that thing? Okay. So that's our second affirmation. All P affirmations, yes. Present priorities and peacefulness is our last one. You recognize that balance, kindness, and love bring calmness to your soul. It's what we were just talking about, that giving and receiving, that cycle. How can we be more peaceful? And it could be really difficult, right? Especially if we're around a lot of people who are button pushers, or people who are not uplifting, or if we work with a lot of toxic folks, or people who just are not cool, they're not kind, they're a little bit self-centered, right? Or maybe we're caught up in the news cycle, right? We do have to monitor how long we are giving our time, our attention, our energy to any of these things. How can we allow more peace into our lives? And how can we let ourselves not be robbed of peace and joy, right? From people who are trying to like take that from us. How can we experience that regardless of whatever trials and tribulations and issues we may be going through, right? So those are things to think about. Those are our midweek energy things to help push us through for the end of the week. If you are reading something fantastic, let me know. I am almost done with Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I love it, especially the audio. I'm like really hooked on it. I'm really loving this book. It's amazing. I got about 20 other book recommendations on hold on my Libby app right now, because I am always reading or listening to true crime podcasts because they bring me joy. I hope you are reading something that brings you joy, right? So everyone be well, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye.